Welcome to day 2 of this training series. Mel Aclaro here, and today we'll be talking about the bigger picture with social media engagement, lead generation, and relationship building. What I've done here is create a little graphic to show the big picture of what I like to refer to as the hubs and spokes model. And if you look at the middle here, we talk about something I call the hub, which typically should be your blog. I'll talk in a future video about why this should be a blog, but right now, let's just keep it at a high level. Now, your blog is crucial. It's a source of the information that you share with the world about your values, your interests, and your passions. And ultimately, everything you publish comes back here as some of your visitors return to inquire more about you or your services. This is actually a source of your content. I actually talk about this model in more detail in a book that I wrote for real estate professionals last year. It's called The Social Media Report, a field guide for real estate professionals. But really, the model applies not just for real estate professionals. In fact, you can be just about any professional in any industry, and it applies to you just as well. I actually turned the whole book into a video book, and I'd like to share one section with you now from chapter 3 of that video book. Now, I'm going to play it for you in just a moment, and in parts, you'll hear me refer to chapter 4 of the book. Don't worry about that reference too much for purposes of this training session. Remember, you're getting a snapshot from the whole book. Okay, so here's that segment from chapter 3. Okay, so here we are in chapter 3. We're going to change the format up a bit here because there are some things I want to start showing you on the screen, and we'll be moving around pretty quickly on some of those things. You know, in the realm of interactive, internet, and online communications, and finding information, customer reviews, and obtaining quality data to improve your business, all that stuff isn't easy. That's why establishing these what we call information outposts and listening posts are key in your strategy for engaging customers in the places they hang out and where they prefer to build relationships. Before diving straight into establishing the outposts and the listening posts, it's important to set up the hub and spokes framework to organize the various sites and tools that you may end up using in social media, and we'll be talking about that in this chapter. The sections that follow will outline the concept and components of the hub and outposts of this framework. Chapter 4, meanwhile, will follow with a discussion specific to listening posts. The hub, when we talk about that basically operates as your central focus in social media. It will help in the trust building objective by giving interested people from any of the outposts a place where they can get a sense of the real you. Now, some real estate professionals may interpret this as being only a website containing marketing messages, a list of residential listings, lead capture forms, and other engines from which to enable email drip campaigns. All of these tools add value, but you should also focus on tools that build trust. You'll be better served to include a site that is search engine friendly, easily linkable, highly indexed, and frequently updated. Therefore, a blog or your website with a frequently updated blog attached to it is a key feature at the hub of your network. Blogs, if frequently updated with quality information, are highly indexed by search engines and frequently linked to and shared by other bloggers and social networkers. As for content that helps you to connect with others, it is one of the best vehicles for indirectly communicating your personal and or your brand characteristics to your visitors in a way that just doesn't blatantly shout to them all the time, do business with me. Looking at the big picture then, think of the spokes or outposts in social media as your way of casting a wide net. Outposts represent culturally distinct networks where you engage potential customers in the places where they prefer to engage others in a conversation online. Suffice to say, each network is different. In addition to differences in feature sets and their look and feel, each one has a different tone, a unique method, or a set of expectations amongst its members. The concept of establishing outposts can be as simple an idea as staking out a profile and participating in communities of discussion on forums like Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. The more outposts you're engaged in, the greater amount of exposure you're likely to have, but an important thing to remember is that 100 outposts also will not make you more effective. We feel it's better to just focus on only a few of these outposts and make sure that the information that passes through them is high in quality. Your objective should be to build genuine trust, credibility, and acceptance in each of the outposts that you engage. So as you look at this hub and spokes framework with its outposts and its listening posts, consider the center of your influence, that being the hub, as a focal point of your online networking activities with all other platforms placed along the periphery like outposts radiating from the hub. Meanwhile, the in-between spaces are populated with these blue bubbles. These represent listening posts, or extensions that function as necessary activities that clue you into the tone, trend, and volume of conversations that relate to you, your brand, or your niche. This involves such activities as establishing search alerts through the use of online monitoring tools like Google Alerts and RSS feeds, and the results page of keyword searches in various communities where your potential customers engage. We'll talk more about those listening posts in Chapter 4, and you'll also get the opportunity to go through some of the tutorials that we'll make available for you on each of these platforms as well. But since there are numerous platforms including blogs, microblogs, social networks, discussion forums, video sharing, photo sharing sites, and slide sharing sites, what we did was we selected 5 that we thought would provide real estate professionals the greatest effectiveness so you can focus your time a little bit better. Those are your blog, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
Okay, so the main points to pull away from all of that is that you want to try and fashion the arrangement of your social networks in a sort of outside-inside kind of a fashion. The general idea is to manage your social networks outside of your blog in a way that you make initial contact with people through some of the groups, some of the forums, and some of the search filters that social networks make available to you. You want to find people in those groups, in those forums, and the search filters that represent your target demographic. Then, using the help of automated searching engines, you can then automate notifications that you receive whenever certain words pop up in the social web that might clue you into conversations that you should join.